at all before that helicopter would be completely obstructed by the water tower.
And then go beneath it, even.
Well, you wouldn't see it anymore, would you? Like, it wouldn't take long for it to travel away from you until it disappeared.
Okay, fair enough. But the water tower is round at the top, and then you can see below it. So at some point,
the
helicopter
would still be higher than the water tower.
Correct.
And you would still be lower than the water tower, but you just wouldn't see the helicopter because the water tower would obstruct it.
So now build a level wall a mile away from you. Land a helicopter on top of it. You're a mile away looking at the top of that wall at that helicopter, and it flies directly away from you. It's going to disappear bottom up, right?
Yeah, it's going to drop into it, isn't it, through perspective?
Right. Bottom up.
Yeah, that's not how perspective works.
I told you they deny it.
Wow. You just bring that in.
Why should we listen to anything you have to say, Brenda?
Well, because everything I say is true.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
So what happens to the helicopter, Brenda?
Yes, it is.
Brenda.
Can we just go over that again? Because I'm not so sure how much of that Brenda actually heard.
Mm-hmm. Go over it again.
You said that things disappear from bottom up due to perspective, and that's not how perspective works.
No, hang on. You didn't. You only heard half of it as usual. So Brenda, you're a mile away from a water tower. Okay, a helicopter is on top of that water tower, and takes off and flies directly away from you at the same elevation that it was on top of the water tower. Is that water tower going to obstruct that helicopter at some point?
Never.
So you're always going to be able to see the helicopter?
Yes, that's how perspective works.
You're an idiot.
Thank you, Brenda. That will be all.
Well, you not understanding or rejecting how perspective works, it doesn't mean it isn't
so
how it is.
Again, why should he listen to anything you have to say?
Because what I said is not only true, you can demonstrate it to yourself. That things at the same level in your perspective field.
Everything that comes out of your mouth is truth.
Well, when I relate, sometimes I say things that are wrong, so I'm not perfect, but on general, yes, everything I've said with regard to flat Earth is absolutely true.
Oh, so now you're putting stipulations on it.
Well,
okay,
of course.
That's
well,
cool.
Of course. Well, of course.
So your statement that everything you say is true was false.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was, because you said everything I say is true.
That's not what I said.
Brenda.
What I said was...
Okay, prove it. Prove me some truth, Brenda.
Well,
Tell me something about you that is true.
One thing, what I just said, which is that in perspective, things that are at the same level will stay at the same level. They'll simply reduce in angular size.
Do you really believe that?
That's how perspective works.
Why don't you ask each other what the shape of your dicks are like?
So
I'll keep out of it. I'll go on mute.
Yeah. So why don't you do that? So if you put for instance, say square blocks on a table, and you move them close to yourself.
Or for instance, a helicopter on top of a water tower.
Or that, right?
Or we could stick with that, right? And you're looking at an angle a mile away at the top of the water tower, and then that helicopter flies directly away from you.
Yes.
And you're saying you're going to always see that helicopter?
Well, it will reduce in angular size to the point...
Will it ever be blocked by the water tower?
Never.
Thank you, Brenda.
And you can test this for yourself without having to go to the expense of a helicopter by just getting a large flat table and putting square blocks on the table and move them close to you. Just listen. You can have 2 blocks, have them close to you, and then move one of them further away, and it will never, sink below the line established in your foreground vision.
Why would you do that? The viewer is below the water tower, correct? Looking up at the top of the water tower.
Well, we're assuming that we're all level here, right?
I'm assuming that you heard what I said when I said you're looking up at an angle from a mile away at the top of the water tower, and the helicopter flies away.
Yeah, we're assuming that we're level, that we're all level.
So you're not listening to what I said. That's what I'm assuming you're not doing. Because I said you're looking up at an angle, whatever that angle would be. It can be anything. You choose.
Right. So if my eye is below the table, right, then objects will be obstructed by the table as they recede in the distance. But I'm assuming that my eye is level with the table, and the objects on the table are.
Then you
are
didn't
level
listen to
with
my
eye.
explanation at all.
So,
You
so
just
you were
assumed you
basically,
heard.
so you were basically lying then, weren't you? You were trying to set up a false scenario.
How was I lying? I came up with my observation. I don't
Right.
understand why you just need people to be liars. Are you that trouble?
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
No, Brenda likes
I
to
came
think
up with
that-
the observation.
No, it's a
Brenda
lie.
likes to
It's
think
a
that she
lie
has
to say
truth.
it's,
How
it's
can
a
I be
lie.
lying when
Okay,
I'm
talk
just
to myself.
telling you to observe a helicopter on top of a water tower from a mile away at an angle? You're looking up.
No, I assume that you're. I assume that
How
you're.
is that lying?
I assume that you're level with the water tower.
You assumed wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You, Brenda, assumed.
Right. So
Wrong.
if I'm visualizing this like on a table, I would assume that my eye is at the level
So
of the table,
you're
and not
telling
below the
us
table.
an observation. You're not describing what I said. You're going to your own observation.
Well, things will
Is that what you wanna do?
never be obstructed due to perspective. Right. That doesn't
Bullshit.
happen. That isn't.
Why
how
would you do it on a
perspective
table?
works.
Why would you do? Why would you?
To the top of the brick or to the bottom of the brick?
Am I not being heard?
I can hear you. Go ahead, Emma.
I can hear you, Emma.
Why are you doing your observation on a table, Brenda?
Because helicopters and water towers are not easily easily obtained.
No. Why are you picking a table? Why are you not picking a ball?
No, because tables are easy to use. Everybody has one.
Tables are level, horizontal.
Yeah.
They don't curve.
So what?
2D, Brenda. Right?
Right. On a curved surface, like say something that you could find readily would maybe be the hood of a car. Then as things recede away, they would be obscured by the curvature of the hood of the car.
Why are we going from water towers and water to cars and tables?
Because cars and tables are
Choose in a
something.
minute.
Cars and tables are things that people can easily have at hand, right? People don't have helicopters lying about, right? So
Okay,
on a
I know,
curved
but I
surface,
don't-
on a curved
I don't
surface,
live on a
curved
car. Don't live
on a-
on a car.
on a curved surface,
I don't live on a table.
yeah, on a curved surface. This is about surfaces and dimensionality. On a curved surface, things receding in the distance will be obstructed by the curvature of that surface.
It could just be reality that we look at.
And
But
on a
You and reality really mix well, does it?
I understand reality perfectly well. It's flat earthers that
Do you?
that do. Yes, I do.
You understand reality perfectly.
I understand it very well. Yes.
Okay,
You know,
tell me your reality.
Can
The
you
reality-
define horizon, Brenda?
Yeah. One definition of horizon.
You
is,
tripped up on that yesterday, didn't
No,
you?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Yeah. Yeah,
No, I
you
didn't.
did.
There are,
Well, let her
according to
define it.
Andrew Young,
Tripped
according
up
to
and fell flat on your
No.
face.
no, you
According
can say
to
that,
Andrew
but that's
Young.
not what happened. Yes, according to
Who's
Andrew
Andrew
Young,
Young?
the person we were talking about yesterday.
10th
Yeah,
brought
yeah.
him up yesterday.
Yeah, but why does he count over everybody else?
Because he's the relevant expert that even Nathan.
he's not.
and Quan-
Oh, expert. Come on.
Expert.
Yes.
Expert.
Yes,
Come on.
yes,
Tell
he
me.
is.
Who is he? Who is he? Who
Yes.
is he?
He's a scientist.
Who is he? Is he on
I've never
TV?
met him.
Is he on TV? Has
No,
he
I've
written
never heard of him.
books? Has he got PhD papers out there? Can I go and find his peer review work and stuff? Can I do that? Is that how
I'm not-
famous this guy is?
I'm not sure he even exists.
Weird. So why would you use this guy that no one knows as a citation? Or
Well, people do know
Whatever.
him, and they've even spoken to him and corresponded with him.
wow, brilliant.
'Cause
There's-
Who's
Because
that?
because he's the relevant.
Brenda, who's talked to him?
I believe
You talked to him, Brenda?
Craig
doesn't
at Fight the
exist.
Flat Earth has corresponded.
Ah,
with him.
well, spoken
No.
to him as in got an email from somebody else that had claimed to have emailed him. If that's what you mean by spoken to him. Is it?
It's like your expert is like a ghost, doesn't exist. No one can find him, and for some reason, he is the expert. These experts, normally you can speak to them, question them, look at all their work. This guy, no one knows who he is. Very strange. Is this another, like, Brenda, reinvent yourself? Is this all a game for you, Brenda?
No, we're talking about Andrew Young, who's the
Mm-hmm.
who has the Green Flashes website. Who's an
Oh, he's got a
astronomer.
website.
Website.
Nobody's heard of.
Wow.
He's an
Nobody's
astronomer.
spoken to.
Wow.
He's an astronomer at the Department
Wow.
of Astronomy.
Whoa.
So he looks at lights in the sky.
Wow. How does that tell us what we live on? It's weird, that.
He
Because
can
that's the
tell.
subject
He
matter.
can tell what's beneath his feet by looking up in the sky.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Wow.
Yeah, the same way that, like, if you're on a spinning merry-go-round, the way you tell it's spinning is you look outside of the merry-go-round, right? You wouldn't look at your feet, would you?
Where's this Green Flashes website, Brenda? What's it called? Is it www dot? Brenda?
Getting instructions.
There you go.
Also,
There you go.
Brenda,
There you go.
how do you know it's not the stars moving above your head?
Oh, because we can measure the speed of the rotation of the Earth.
No, you can't, Brenda.
Yes,
That's
we
an
can.
assumption.
No,
Just
it's
like the
not.
radius.
No, it's not. It's 15 degrees an hour.
And how do you work that out?
Well, Bob Nodell.
How do you measure this?
What Bob Nodell did, right?
No, he didn't. No,
Yeah,
he
he
didn't.
actually
you
did.
know that was taken. You know that was taken out of context, Brenda.
Well, how was it taken out of context?
Because there was no spin of the Earth measured.
But he did measure the spin.
No, he didn't, Brenda.
Well, how? Prove it.
A ring laser gyro does not measure the spin of the Earth, does it?
Come on, Brenda, stick to
Yes,
reality.
it does. Yes, it does.
We're
No,
going
it
off
does
into
not.
fantasy.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
Laser gyro does not measure the apparent, alleged spin of the Earth.
What does it measure?
And you want us to prove what another man didn't do about a spin that doesn't occur.
The spin does
That's
occur.
what you want us to-
No, the spin does occur. What I want you to do is to back up your claim that he didn't measure the spin.
It's
And
not
Bob
our,
Nodell.
you're claiming that he did.
Yeah.
He
And-
He didn't measure spin, though, did
And
he,
I can
Brenda?
back it up. I can back it up by simply referring to the instrument that he used, a ring gyros, fiber optical laser gyroscope, which does measure, its change on any surface that it's on.
Okay.
Brenda, come on, you can't actually think that is right. That is reality.
Why can't I think that?
Well, you can. It's just wrong.
Well, no. Why is it wrong?
Why? Because there is no rotation. You have
No,
to
that's-
prove rotation before you create an instrument to prove rotation.
No, you
It's
don't.
not
No, you don't.
measuring rotation. It's
I have to-
measuring.
You're saying that I have to prove rotation before I can prove rotation?
You
How
can't
fucking
use
stupid
a
is that?
gyro that's
How
not
fucking
used to do
stupid is that? That's fucking stupid. I have to prove rotation before I
No.
can prove rotation? That's just fucking
Stupid
stupid.
is saying that Bob Nodell used an instrument that doesn't prove rotation of the Earth to
Yes, it
prove
does.
rotation of the Earth.
Yes, it
No,
does.
doesn't.
Which viewing angle disappears first, the smallest viewing angle or the largest viewing angle?
So how does the
Which viewing angle disappears first in perspective? The largest viewing angle or the smallest viewing angle?
we're not talking about, what are you talking about? We're talking about ring gyro laser
Yeah, let's get back to your
gyroscopes.
brick on the table. Which disappears first, the largest viewing angle or the smallest viewing angle?
What are you talking about? We're not talking about that. I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking
let's get
about.
back to your subject about the brick
No,
on the
we're
table.
talking about
Which
Bob. No,
disappears first, the
We're talking-
highest viewing angle or the smallest viewing angle?
I'm talking about how we prove that the Earth is
Now,
spinning.
let's talk about the
and-
zero viewing angle. Which one disappears
We're talking about.
first?
We're talking about how.
It disappears from the bottom up because that's the smallest angle.
That's not how perspective works.
That's how perspective works.
No, it
the
isn't.
smallest angle disappears first. The smallest angle
No,
is that
it-
which is
no, it-
closest to
that's
the ground.
not-
The
no.
closest to the tabletop.
That's
You've just been
not how it
destroyed.
works. That's not how. That's not how perspective works.
I'll ring in a minute, yeah.
Things never disappear from the bottom up due to perspective. Never.
The smallest angle disappears first. The smallest
That's-
angle is that closest to the ground, you idiot.
That's not perspective, and that's not how it works. And if you say that, then prove it. Show me a video where things with the smallest angle disappear bottom up. Prove it. And so back to detecting the spin of the Earth, the Foucault's pendulum, regular mechanical
Brenda.
gyroscopes, and
Brenda,
other.
Brenda,
and-
how
excuse me.
How does a ring
Excuse
laser
me.
gyro
I was
work,
talking.
Brenda?
I was in the
How
middle of
do
a
you
sentence. I was in the middle of talking.
do you
I'm
think-
talking. I am talking.
Yeah, about bullshit.
I am
About
talking.
Foucault's pendulum.
I am talking.
I'm really bored now. Shut up.
I am
Seriously,
talking.
I'll mute everybody.
I
Shut
am
up.
talking.
Who gives a
Shut
shit?
up, Brenda. Seriously, don't shout.
We don't care.
So, Foucault's pendulums and
Doesn't prove the
gyroscopes.
spin of the Earth.
Yes, they
No, no,
do.
back to the
Yes,
No,
they
it
do.
doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Apparent
So
force.
why don't things get
Nuh-uh.
affected by it, Brenda?
Nuh-uh. It doesn't work. Nuh-uh.
Apparent force.
Scaredy cat, scaredy cat.
Brenda. Guys, Brenda. So you said that things do not disappear from the bottom up because there is no evidence for it, or words to that effect. Is that what you said?
That's exactly
Um,
what she
due-
said.
I said due to perspective. They disappear
because-
bottom up. They disappear bottom up due
Brenda.
to obstruction.
Brenda, so do you agree perspective is the way we perceive the world rather than the way the world actually is? Do you agree that that's what perspective is?
Perspective is the decrease in angular size of an object as it increases in distance away from you.
That's one. Hang on. That's one element of perspective. There are about 10, but I'm asking you a straight question I want you to answer the question I ask. Do you agree that perspective is the way we view the world rather than the way the world actually is?
Yeah, it's how things appear to us. If things appear smaller as they recede in the distance.
Yeah, so we know that we've got things that disappear into the distance from the bottom up because there's something called Airy's diffraction limit, and it's got a sum, so you can calculate it. It's based on the diameter of the lens that you're looking through, which could be your eye or a camera. And based on the size of that lens, the diameter size, you can calculate how much it's going to obstruct from the bottom up because of an angular resolution limitation. It's called Airy's diffraction, Brenda. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, that has nothing to do with perspective.
That's exactly what we're doing when we
No.
use a lens. When we're using a lens, that is our perspective of the world in which we live.
No, so what you're talking about is the ability to resolve distant objects due to how small they are. There's a limit. There's a diffraction limit as the ability of any lens to resolve a distant object. That has nothing to
Correct.
do with that has nothing to do with perspective.
But it goes further than that, Brenda, which does have everything to do with perspective, because as things get smaller in the distance, the boys are correct. The angle, as it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, it starts to obstruct things at the bottom. And do you know how we can demonstrate
And
proof for you that it's true?
It doesn't obstruct things at the bottom.
Brenda, do you want to shut up and listen to Tony for a minute?
It doesn't obstruct things at the bottom. At
does.
the distance. It doesn't. That's not how Airy's
It does,
diffraction
Brenda.
works. That's not how
Tony,
diffraction
Brenda,
works.
just shut up and listen to Tony.
That has nothing to do with perspective. Diffraction, the
Oh my
diffraction
God.
limit
How
is.
do you expect to learn anything if you
Trigger.
just keep
No,
shooting
I'm
your
gonna-
mouth off, Brenda?
Yeah, be quiet.
You
Be
just
quiet.
don't
No,
stop
Be quiet.
talking, do you?
Be quiet. Be
How
quiet.
can you ever
We're not
Be
gonna
absorb
be
quiet.
quiet.
So the
information,
diffraction limit.
Brenda?
The
This is
diffraction
not
limit.
true.
Actually, let me deal with it. Brenda, let's have a chat, proper chat, about why you refuse to listen to anything. Let's discuss that.
I'm listening.
Well, why do you refuse? I don't know. Have an actual discussion with people.
Well, because flat earthers interrupt and talk
No,
over me.
no.
No,
That's-
hang on.
they're doing it right
Redmond,
now.
Redmond, wait. No. Listen. You've just lumped us all together with flat earthers. We are individual people, as you are, Brenda, and you expect to be treated.
Yes, I expect at least a
Okay.
minimum of just ordinary talking,
Okay,
which I
fine.
can't seem to get from you.
Try
Okay,
letting Tony
because
finish
you,
his sentence then, Brenda. Try that one. Tony was speaking and you started
I was
speaking through
talking.
him. No,
I was
actually,
talking.
Tony was
DP.
talking.
I was
Emma's on
talking.
it, isn't there?
don't worry, you guys, you deal with it.
So the point is that diffraction limit is the ability of a lens to resolve distant objects. It has nothing to do with perspective. Nothing. And diffraction limit will never make things disappear from the bottom up. It simply
So
limits your ability to resolve two distinct objects in the distance. It has nothing to do with obstruction.
do you ever, with regards to perspective, do you ever observe the world other than through a lens?
Well, visually, yes, I see everything through through my eyes, which has a lens. Yes.
So why does the angular resolution limitation have nothing to do with perspective when your eye is the lens?
Because perspective is the fact that things get smaller in angular size due to, in direct proportion to, how far away they are from me. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
but
That's
that's-
all it is.
That's not what I asked, though. I asked, is there ever an example where you don't use a lens to perceive the world? Or is it always through a lens and it's always through your eye or a camera or a telescope or some other viewing device?
Well, you said perceive the world. So I smell, I touch, I taste, I feel through my skin, right? I have my senses. I have more than just one sense of vision. I have 5 senses.
So in the live stream text, I've put in a picture. It's marked A, B, and C. Can you see it?
Yes. That's the diffraction limit example. Oh, I guess I've been muted.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine. If you wanted to talk, we can do that.
It's fine. I've said my
Okay.
bit for now.
All
I
right.
want to now see the aftermath. Carry on.
okay, Anthony, what I see in A, B, and C is an example of the diffraction limit, the ability of a lens to resolve two different light sources, and the further they get away, they merge into one. That has nothing to do with perspective. Perspective has to do with the apparent reduction in angular size of objects as they recede in the distance from an observer. The diffraction limit has to do with the ability of a lens to resolve features of an object, but it has nothing to do with obstruction from the bottom up. Things are never obstructed from the bottom up due to the diffraction limit. Things are never obstructed from the bottom up due to perspective. Things are only obstructed when something is in the way. Something has to physically block the light from reaching your eye in order for something to be partially obstructed.
Oh, Brenda, I have a slight request. Do you mind if I just bring Rumpus into the conversation?
I don't mind at all. Emma, you've always been very nice, but I have an issue because people overtalk. They get excited. I understand that they get excited and they get upset when I say
Okay,
things.
Brenda, I don't need a lecture from you. I've just dealt with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
And then
Rumpus?
on the other front, everything I've ever said has been scientifically accurate and correct.
All right, we
most
won't
of
get
the
into
time.
that now, Brenda. Hang on, that's gonna take ages. We'll get into that in a minute. Rumpus, are you with us?
Yeah, I just happened to randomly come here randomly, yes. I am
Okay,
here.
it's actually probably a good job you came here. I've been wanting to speak to you.
Okay.
Quite an important thing. I'm not sure if you know, my son's disabled. He's brain damaged. He's brain damaged. He had an illness at age 5 and he's brain damaged and he's still with us. He's 16 nearly. But he's stuck at age 6. He has severe epilepsy. He's had several brain surgeries.
Okay.
No fault of his own.
Right.
Brain injured.
Poor
Do you
guy.
remember any time you may have said something that may have upset me recently?
Don't think so.
No, you don't remember talking to Fight the Flat Earth, shall we say?
I did talk to Fight the Flat Earth, yes.
And you don't remember the conversation you guys all had about people from FE and being brain injured?
Oh, Fight the Flat Earth. It's Fight the Flat Earth.
No. Yeah, I've dealt with Fight the Flat Earth. Fight the Flat Earth will get what's coming to him because I'll go on his show and I'll speak to him like this. You were, all right? You're not going to get quite as much as Fight the Flat Earth, but I'm just telling you, please think about your words because I would
Hold on.
never.
Hold on. What are you claiming I said?
You thought it was hilarious. Go back and listen to it. Rumpus.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. As a human being, I am asking you to go back and look at that and think about your conduct. Please.
Well, that's pretty rich. Asking me to give consideration that the flat earthers do not give other people.
No. This is me. I'm talking to you as me, a person, an individual. Yeah, as we're all trying to be respected as. I'm not talking to you as a flat earther. I'm talking to you as me. Okay? As a mother.
Well, if you expect to be treated in a certain way, then I would expect that to be reciprocated.
Really not helping because you don't.
Well, why the fuck should I care?
I've muted her. Emma, do you want to carry on with the Rumpus?
All it is when we talk about each other and the way we call each other these things, and we don't stop to think that there are real people out there with brain injuries.
I didn't make a
And all that. So why?
Hold on.
Yeah,
Hold
no,
on.
they
hold on.
brought it up.
Hold on. I never
brought it
brought up the subject. I didn't indulge it.
Oh no!
I'm not.
you
I don't think.
sat there
And I
the whole
don't think I
time.
even. No, I don't think I even. I don't think I'd have laughed at that once.
Rewatch it, Rumpus.
Yeah, okay,
Rewatch it,
but you may have mistook my laugh for someone else's.
No. Please go back and watch it.
Okay, well I will.
As a human being.
Yeah.
Why
okay,
is that so difficult?
Well, because I think you're making an accusation of me that's completely untrue. That's why. So it's annoying me.
Oh, jeez. We
Oh,
have to deal with that
jeez.
every day, Rumpus.
Yeah, but if you make an accusation like that, you know, might as well be calling me. I don't know. Then the word. It's a
Right.
pretty poor thing.
Do we have to go through the whole video and do the point by point things? I didn't accuse you of anything. I said you had a conversation. You were involved
You
in
said
the conversation.
I was enjoying it, or I laughed out loud, or something. You said about
Yes.
2 minutes ago.
Yes.
Well, I don't. Well, I wouldn't. I would not have laughed out loud at someone. I mean, there may have been an associated
For
comment.
God's sake, it's not. I'm whatever.
But don't
You
make
don't
the
care.
accusation
You
then.
don't care about other human beings.
I
It's
know.
fine.
I care about someone
Fine.
accusing me of doing something I didn't do. That's what I care about.
Did.
No, I
That's
didn't.
right.
I don't know what you haven't made it clear exactly. You're basically saying I was there. Is all really. I was indeed there, and I didn't close it down. I don't think I made any comment on that. Whether it was. I mean, I can't remember if I even mentioned the.
I'm not sure what you're talking about, Rumpus, because I didn't
Well, I'm not
say
sure
you
you're
said
talking
anything.
about.
I said you were on the show.
Oh God!
Said you
Yes, I was
laughed.
on the show. Okay,
thought
that's
it was
That's
brilliant.
your point. No, I didn't say that. If I thought the show was quite good, but that's different from saying those comments were good.
Oh, okay, well, I did ask your opinion, and so far, all you've basically done
Well, I
is go,
say-
no, that's not what I said, that's not what I did.
Yeah, well, you haven't made an
accused
accusation. You were implying that I was in somehow.
Oh, so I didn't
making
make an
fun of this or
accusation.
something.
I didn't
I'm
make
not-
an accusation.
You did. You implied it. Don't come at your devious little twattish stuff. You were making an accusation of me, implied or not. So don't start coming to some sort of superior moral position you've got, because you haven't.
No, well, see, the
You
thing
made
is,
an unfounded accusation or
I
an
haven't called
implication
you,
which
I
is
haven't called you any
unfounded
names.
and is
Okay, you keep calling me names. You keep
Yeah, I
calling me
will call you
names.
names. Like, if you start making some smear on me of
Smear?
something I haven't done, then I'm going to get annoyed about it.
I
Quite
didn't go
quite
public,
too.
Rumpus, did I?
I
I
don't
was
care.
wanting for you to come in here so I could speak to you and
Well, okay,
bring
well,
the
yeah, to
topic up.
smear me. Yes, to smear me,
But
fine.
yet again,
You're the one who's behaving badly here, not me.
Rumpus can't speak properly and has to insult people,
Well,
which
because
you proved my
smearing
point,
me.
Rumpus.
You were smearing
You
me.
have proved.
So why does that
my-
justify you smearing me in an unjustified fashion just because there's
Keep calling
someone
me
else
names.
talking about it?
Keep calling me names.
Yeah, I will, because you. Well, I'm not really, but yeah, you tried to smear me, and I don't like it, quite understandably. Just because if
Okay.
you were in this room, and someone was saying something unpleasant, and you were sort of a side thing, and you just happened to be around, and you kept staying in it, I wouldn't go around saying, "Oh, Emma, that bloody hell, she was in that room where these horrible things were said."
No, because you'd hear me open my mouth and tell the other people to sort their lives out.
Rumpus, can I just ask?
Funny enough.
Rumpus,
Yeah.
just can I ask?
Okay.
Emma's obviously a little bit peeved, maybe offended that she felt that you were being a bit unkind.
But I
Can't
wasn't.
you just say-
She hasn't made that public.
Just for being
She hasn't actually said what I'm supposed to have done, except that I was in the same room.
That's a fair point, and I'm sure if Emma was to go and spend 2 minutes, she could go and dig out the bit that she's not happy with. But at
No,
this point,
I think it's
Just for the- just for
by
the-
association.
can we not just say for the sake of just
No, we can't, because all she's done is said I was in the same room, and there's some sort of implication that I was somehow just
Have a look
there.
have a look in the live stream. I've timestamped it. All
So
right, it should be
talking
about
to you like a human
1:52.
being,
All right.
talking to you like a normal person and trying to have
Yeah,
a
I was just-
conversation
I was
with
just-
about something
I
I
was
don't
just
You
trying
know
to-
what?
agree
You're smearing me.
with.
No, Rumpus, I was just Rumpus. I'm trying to steer you just towards a normal, common level of if I upset you, I apologise. Is
Oh,
that
no, you
not
haven't
okay?
upset me. I'm just annoyed that someone's smearing me.
She's not. She's saying that
She
she found
is.
disdain in your commentary.
Yes, exactly. So that's a smear. She's implying, she's giving it quite ambiguous. So she's not quite sure what I was there. She knows I was there. She's not quite sure what happened, but because I was there, she'll apply broad brush to me because I was in the same room. Guilt by association.
All right, Bev, in that
I
case,
don't
if you've got
like
the timestamp, do you want to play it and let's hear it, and then we can respond to it?
So this is.
Screen up.
Just bear with him, Rumpus.
Screen up.
Oh, Anthony,
Can everyone hear that?
I've-
See it?
are you there, Anthony?
I am, but 1 sec.
You hear that?
No.
I'm
Yeah,
just
I
saying.
could. I was in there.
I'm just saying that.
Are you in my live stream?
Oh, you need to click the watch
Right,
stream.
Bev, you do realise that Bev was the one that was giggling, don't you, Emma? Bev's the one's going ha 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 in response to that question, not me.
Right, are we
So
going to
you're
listen
gonna-
to it
are you
or
gonna-
not?
I just did, and I just listened to the bit where he made the accusation, and then after that you went ha 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 ha. Obviously you were sort of mocking
Yeah,
him.
Oh, wow.
that was
You
Bev.
said 5 seconds.
So you're going to light into Bev now?
Are we going to listen to
Yeah,
it or
Bev-
not?
exactly. So yeah, so he
We're
laughed.
going to keep talking over it so
He
no one
thought
can hear it.
he thought it was
Yeah.
funny, Emma. So
They-
yeah,
they
that's
don't-
him, yeah.
Awkward, isn't it? You keep
They don't
focusing,
want-
Rumpus, so no one can hear what's going on.
There we
right?
go, Emma. You should be going into Bev because he giggled at that response. You
we-
mistook.
No, I- do you know
We're
why-
going to play it or,
You mistook
or
his
not?
laugh for me, didn't you? That's what you've done.
I
you
know
gonna-
Bev
gonna
laughed.
be
you
quiet?
idiot.
Right, well, there we go then. So why don't you have a go at him instead of me? Jesus.
I know why
Christ.
Bev laughed.
Well, so he's the one who did the laughing. There you go.
No.
Was there any laughing before that?
Was it like 5 seconds you listened to? Or what?
Yeah,
Because it
it's
went
about,
on for quite a
I don't know,
while.
30 seconds. Well, I'm not going
Yeah,
to.
keep going. No, of course you will.
I've
Of
listened to enough of
course.
this.
I know,
I've
you
listened
just
to
keep
enough.
calling me names, make
Well,
things
I
up.
will.
It's
can
fine.
we
You
switch
keep
to
calling me
something
names.
more interesting than this?
Yeah, exactly. This is ridiculous.
Drama. So Rumpus.
I know, being human,
Yeah, so have a
being
go at Bev
normal.
about giggling about the issue then, not me. He's the one who was giggling like crazy. The several captions bits that I've got. He's the only one who's been giggling like an idiot.
As long as you feel good about yourself, Rumpus.
I do feel
carry
good
on.
about myself, and I do respond to people smearing me in a quite reasonable fashion. Don't do it.
What? You responded in a reasonable manner?
Yes,
Really?
if someone goes around smearing me, I'm going to respond in a manner that I think is justified.
Should we go back?
Smear.
Should we go back and listen to the recording of what actually happened? Because this is all in your
Oh, remember,
imagination,
look,
Rumpus.
this is completely unproductive. I'm not interested. Unless there's something else
good.
going to come up, I'm going to go.
Bye.
Okay.
Oh,
Bye.
Rumpus.
Yeah.
I had an interesting conversation with Bev here. Bev thinks that the surface of a sphere is three-dimensional.
Well, I would say that it is. Although
no,
you can define.
It's two-dimensional.
It moves around in 3D space. Although the parameters that you can use you can define how you move around it in 2D. I mean, I must admit, I'm having an argument with someone someone else about this actually. Some guy with a maths degree. He's claiming it's just a surface, but you can move around it just in 2D. But it's a 2D surface. It's a 2D surface inside of. I'm being assaulted by something.
Jesus Christ, what is that?
I presume someone's. I think Bev presumably playing. Bear's presumably playing the thing back for a giggle.
No, I don't think it's me. My thing isn't lit, is it?
Oh, it's domestic primate. Oh, right.
With these 3,950, and there's the
Someone,
measurement
I presume,
calculation.
on the
Yes,
level.
not a measurement.
Can we mute that?
Hey.
Can we mute that?
No, a measurement is a measurement. A calculation. Bev, shut
What
up and
is
listen.
being played?
Listen, Bev, shut
I
up.
don't know.
Bev, shut up and listen.
DP.
Second grade. Yeah, shut up and listen.
This domestic primate crap.
Can you
Yeah,
measure?
I don't know, is it
a
Just
20
mute him.
with
Just
a
mute
10
him.
centimetre rule?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
You've got
Shut
a
the
10
guy up.
centimetre ruler, haven't
Oh
you?
my god.
Yeah, and with that 10 centimetre.
Just lay it out twice, right?
Oh, right. So
Right.
you just
Well,
make
if I
a
can't get rid of this, then
You've just measured something with a measure.
Yeah,
cannot someone do? Oh, thank God for that. Why did that take so long?
Because I don't normally do any moderation. It doesn't normally need it around here.
Right. So Brenda,
So no, wait a minute. Can I just ask? You're in a debate, a rather heated debate with a serious mathematician, and does that mathematician think it's 2D?
we're having a dispute at the moment about it.
Right. So which side of the dispute are you on?
I'm on for the fact that it is a 3D surface, but he's
Okay,
talking
so
about.
you're on our side then, Rumpus.
No,
on this one.
I'm on the side that it is a two-dimensional. The surface of a sphere is two-dimensional. It's two-dimensional object embedded in a three-dimensional sphere.
Right, but what does that make it then? I think that makes it 3-dimensional.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, you're
Yeah,
wrong.
nice one, Rumpus.
No,
At
because
last.
it's mathematically
Well done.
But moving
mathematically
around-
it's two-dimensional. Mathematically, it's
Well, not.
two-dimensional.
Well, the input parameters are 2-dimensional. So, for instance, you can define where you're on the surface with just 2 parameters.
Don't you need to fix an axis in order to do that? Because the ball can roll, can't it? Like that wouldn't define where you are on the surface.
No, because the coordinate system would roll with it. The coordinate system would roll with the ball, so it wouldn't make any difference.
Yeah, but you'd have to fix an axis then. You'd have to fix a point at which to say that you are going from, right?
Yeah.
That's what 3D is.
So all you need to do is to fix your 2D coordinate system and also the 3D coordinate system in the same place. So you can rotate the ball in 2D and you twat, and rotate the ball rotates as well. In your 3D, for instance, the GPS system, the 3D coordinate system for the Earth, that rotates with the rotation of the Earth. So there's a 3D coordinate system that's rotating with the. So in other words, a point.
Is it not fixed on an axis then?
Jesus Christ! Yes, and that rotates that part of the coordinate system. So, for instance, the coordinate of London is the same GPS coordinate all the time, even though the Earth's rotating, because the coordinate system in GPS rotates with the rotation.
Almost as though it's not rotating.
No, it is rotating. But the coordinate system is rotated with the Earth, and that's so. Therefore, that's
static with the Earth, then, right?
Can you stop being so rude and stop interrupting mid-sentence?
That's all he ever does.
No, you don't. You don't understand anything about coordinate system. You are a moron. You don't understand anything about coordinate system. You've already admitted you can't do any maths at all, and you've never done any transform. Sorry? Yeah, you've already said that. When you were asked about the quiz, the geometric test against Team Skeptic, you admitted you couldn't do anything with numbers in them, any maths. So you've already admitted.
No. Listen,
you did.
I said within Euclidean geometry there is no numbers.
Well, you can apply them.
Was I wrong, Rumpus, or was I correct?
You were incorrect. Euclidean geometry can utilize numbers.
Oh, like definition 1, definition 2,
applying it,
definition 3.
You can apply it, you moron. You can apply the Euclid. That's what we talk about when we talk about doing geometrical calculus. We do it in Euclidean space, so it can deal with numbers. It's an idiotic thing.
So he thinks that Euclid's book is like the Word of God. It's just
I know.
In geometry, it is, isn't it?
No, it isn't. It's been revised. There are numerous occasions things it's been updated for it, and for the wording of the definitions are not definitions, as I pointed out in that post on Frank de Broer's thing. It's an if-then statement. It's not defined as a definition. Hold on! Don't interrupt every few seconds. It's not defined as a definition. It does not say perpendicular is It defines as hold on. It says if these two circumstances occur, then we call that perpendicular. Logically, if you knew anything about logic, you would realize that's not an exclusive definition of perpendicular. But that may have been the intention of Euclid because he worded it poorly. I'm prepared to accept that. But nonetheless, the way it's worded is an if-then statement. Carry on.
Okay, well, can you word it for modern day? Like bring it up to date.
Okay.
For the model believers.
Right, I would say a definition. Here is a definition of...
The actual definition is in the live stream.
Not a definition. Not a definition. I know it's in the definition section, but it's not worded as a definition.
It is. It's definition number 10.
I just explained to you about 2 minutes ago why it's not worded as a definition.
No, you can't say the definition section
you're interrupting me.
Geometry is not actually
You're interrupting me, you twat. I know you like to interrupt all the time. Right.
Did anyone hear that? Or what?
No, I didn't fucking hear any of it because Rumpus is just shooting his mouth open.
No, he's upset because Bev constantly interrupts and overtalks people all the time. You see that little giggle?
All I heard.
That little giggle is the same little giggle that he gave to your son because Bev enjoys other people's suffering.
What? Rumpus was suffering then.
That's projection.
Bev enjoys his little passive aggressive digs at people.
You're
passive aggressive. That Emma's taught me that.
Of your ass, Brenda.
So Bev constantly interrupts and talks over people, and that's why people get really angry with him because he does it constantly.
Right, Brenda?
Yes, you do. Like right
now.
You just did.
Kettle.
Yeah, all the time.
Like you do all the time. You do this all the time.
Rumpus is the rumpus. Yeah?
No, he has.
That's all he does. He rumpuses. And he thinks he holds the moral high ground when
No,
all he does is call
no.
people names, shout at them, talk over them, and act like a fucking child. That is
Brenda,
what Rumpus is.
Well, that's what you people do too.
Brenda, the whole time Emma was talking right then, you were interrupting.
Yeah.
When she was explaining how Rumpus is rumpusing, you're rumpusing her.
So Rumpus does that.
Who cares? Go
See,
on
like
mute.
you're doing right now. Like you're doing right
Go
now.
on mute.
So
You're
pot,
talking about
kettle,
nothing.
Black. Pot,
You're
kettle,
trying
black.
to project to us that Rumpus doesn't rumpus. You know how stupid
No,
that sounds?
He does
His
it.
name is Rumpus for a
So
reason.
he does it because of people like
His
Nathan,
name
who's abusive.
is
who's
Rumpus
abusive.
for a reason. End of story.
Right. So
I don't think I've heard anybody here call anybody any names. The only person who's done that so far is Rumpus. We try and actually not do that because it's not necessary. To have a debate, there is no need to call people names and speak to them like that. There is just no need. And no, I'm sorry. If you
There's
get
a problem-
interrupted, I didn't go mad and start calling people names when I got interrupted. What's the point in that? That just doesn't give you a good conversation with anybody.
well, you can't have a good conversation here because of bad
No?
behavior.
Well, what are you doing here?
Oh, very good
It keeps
point.
coming back. It can't get me out of a mind.